Welcome back and or to the channel. How are you folks doing? It's been a long last 5 days. I got back late last Wednesday and took 4 days off. I had my personal vehicle needed some attention, so I stayed home and went through the vehicle pretty much thoroughly. Struts, ball joints, shocks, calipers, rotors, pads, pretty much everything but the rack and pinion on the suspension. The Midwest salt really tore it up along with the potholes, so welcome to America. But today I wanted to talk about over a week ago there in Louisville, Kentucky was the MATS Mid-American Truck Show for 2024, and while I was home for a day and a half, 2 days, the wife and I watched quite a bit of videos, you know, and I'm going to be giving out many shout outs here today, but throttle power and big rig videos really kept us in the game to see what was going on around there, along with some other influencers. The biggest one that really drew me into the whole crowd, and you know, we're not here to hate or judge on anyone, but Bruce Wilson out of Florida there, when he started getting into, you know, will it start videos, but when he bought his cab over and then kind of got out there traveling around and stuff, but when he what do I want to say, sold the one Air Force cab over to Gentry and Sons, then that got me connected with Gentry and Sons, and then that led me to Fitzgerald and Semi-Casual with those two channels, getting to that channel. So everything kind of just cascaded over the last, I want to say 5-6 years. So you know, so all these guys were there at the truck show. Really want to give, you know, a shout out to these guys. They work hard and they play hard, and as I do here, I have, you know, my stuff, but kudos to Bruce when he stepped up and got that 389 Blue Peterbilt. So he's got that up for sale. He announced during at the MATS that that was going up for sale, the Trader Taxi there. He you know, kind of built that up, and it's a little showy, and he bought a second truck for heavy haul with a more of a coffin sleeper on it. But you know, that's something worth. I told my wife, you know, that would be nice to get into if we had the money and the freight, but you know, the industry's not doing good, and I'll lead into that. So anyhow, yeah, so Bruce's truck's really nice. That really got me, you know, looking at some of the newer equipment, along with the Kenworth guy up there in Canada. I followed him for as many years too. Gentry was there, and I really have to give him kudos, his team and them, for pulling together Weston Champlin's Peterbilt and putting that together. Because of his shop fire, it put him way behind, and they pulled it together at the end. They assembled that truck in like 3 days. Got it there. Obviously it was probably about 90% put together. They still had, you know, finishing touches to do, but that's a nice truck for what Weston's going to do with it. But Weston commissioned Gentry to restore and fix that truck up to be nice, and it just happened to get, you know, in the middle of that shop fire that they had there at Gentry and Sons. So I want to go through a few others as big rig videos and throttle power was going around the grounds. Now next year, and the reason why I was planning on going, I had the hotel booked and was getting ready to pull the tickets, but this is when the wife's medical stuff is now coming up in Dallas, Texas, and in 2 more weeks we're on the road going out there. We're driving out and driving back. So we're 8 subscribers away to get to that 50, and then while we're on that road trip, we can go live. So if we can get 8 more subscribers, we can go live on that trip, and then we're no more pre-recorded, and you guys can talk to us. But the other truck that caught me, it's not a practical functional truck, but a good show truck, was and I'm just using a reference here, but the Dustin Dickerson's Storm Surge. And I was interested in that with the fabrication of what they did on the suspension, independent front suspension with the airbags, and putting a D11 V12 CAD in that. And I didn't know. I was looking at those forged wheels on there, 28-inch wheels, but he had commissioned Lacey Blair, and she's been at Matt's just about every year since I started following her. And she powder coated those, so you know, and there'll be pictures to follow along with all this. But that was really interesting to hear. And the thing of it is, you can go to these big rig videos, and they interview each one of these owners, you know, anywhere from 30-45 minutes, and they go through in detail the process of start to finish on the build and what they did. Like I said, it's intriguing to follow this stuff through the year outside of, you know, my finance and economic channels, but I gotta have a little sweetness in with what I do and follow every now and then. And yeah, you know, this is what I do when I'm doing downtime. I don't Netflix, I don't Hulu. I usually follow other channels, and it's not only the content, but I also look at, you know, I look at them too as what are they doing for the way they video, the way they present it. It gives me ideas, so it's really good. I'm really was really happy with the Matt show this year. The other one, where was that at? Right here. Davis Brothers Designs on Lessons Learned. I believe they built, I think they won the build off, but that truck really, really nice. I couldn't have been more than proud of a lot of these guys that really know their stuff, and are, you know, they use some of the cosmetic stuff, they'll use outside sources, but the in-house stuff they have in their regular garages, you know, if they're a trucking company, they're building these things right out of their own, you know, their own shops. So that came out really nice. A lot of these are Peterbilts, so a lot of Peterbilts, and it'd be the one truck I like to take that ride into the sunset before I head to the heavens. The other one too was the one that really got me on the engine build, and if you go back and follow him, is Troy Macy, out there out of Texas. He's got that truck Bocephus, but they had a C18, and it blew up 10 miles after they got down the road, rebuilt it, blew up again, and it come to find out it was the inner air cooler, when they had it chromed, all the chemicals in it and particles inside of it went down in the engine. That's what was blowing it up. So they ended up painting the one for the, I believe he's got a C15 6NZ in there now, but they went and sanded that cat engine down on the outside. You know how on the engine blocks, they're rough casted? They literally sanded smooth all the sides of that engine block, chromed out all the bolts, stuff like that. And he goes, they went to get going, and the oil feed for the air compressor, there was a pinch in the 90-degree elbow, and it ran it dry and blew the rod of the air compressor right out. They thought they blew the motor up because the air compressor was chromed, so they ended up getting another compressor, painting it, and just getting by with that. But he won Best of Show for a combination with his tanker trailer, vacuum trailer, and his tractor. The other interesting thing about that truck is the interior. He reached out to his interior guy and asked him if he could get leather from Ferrari, and they could. So when you see the inside of that truck, that is genuine Ferrari leather that they wrapped the dash, the door panels, seats, and all that. So really nice. Like I said, it creative and ingenuitive of what they could come up with and think of. You know, the creative flows that these guys can look at a truck, a car, anything in the even at SEMA, but just really interesting how these guys, what angle they're coming from when they look at something, and it just gives you that perspective to be able to look at something differently. As a professional detailer, I do, you know, I look at other detailers, I look at other, you know, paint and body guys to, you know, fabricators. I want to know what's the other angle that these guys may be coming at that I'm not seeing or not thinking of. So that was really nice. The one truck that really got me, and I followed Semi-Casual channel about, was Eric's truck from, I believe he drives for Bennett at Bennett family of companies. But that, the 389 Legendary Purple with the orange frame, and they put an orange acrylic floor in there, and they had the nice LED lights wrapped around the seat bases, around the shifter, around the outer borders, and the door sills that say Peterbilt were all lit up in the purple lighting. And that truck, just looking at it as it was coming together, I told my wife, excuse me, because it was Easter yesterday, I didn't leave, so I got up at 1 o'clock today, so want to shoot this video out and get it out for you folks. But that Legendary Purple, that thing has been just resonating in my head, and I said, that's how I want to build a truck. That's my colors. That's like the Mopar colors, purple and orange. And I said that would be my dream truck right there to ride out in. So if there's any truck out there, that's the one. And so that got me looking into even by Gentry and Sons, Bennett, the Bennett company had the race car sitting there, and I think, what's his name, Austin Hall or whoever races for them. And so I looked into it, and that company is pretty widespread in everything from dry van, reefer. The one thing that got me intrigued was the RGN, which is something I've done back in the 90s. I've been away from it for about 24, 25 years. But oversized, specialized hauling, that's where you got to be if you're going to survive in this trucking market. Is you've got to be able to transition into like a reefer, a step deck, flatbed, RGN, because you can't just go all out on dry van. As you can tell, the market is just drying up. But that's what Bennett's got, that division, and I think that's what boy, I want to say, yeah, they got the risers, because I'm looking at the pics so I can remember who I'm talking about. But with Eric's truck, they put the risers on there, so I'm gonna assume that's for the RGNs and other trailers for oversized loads. So, and then it was funny too, the week before they started setting up, I was coming up from Manchester or London, Middlesboro, Kentucky, or Manchester, out of London, Kentucky. I remember going up to the grab up to Brea, Kentucky, and I looked up to my right going north, and off on the exit was a tour bus, Tony Justice, and props to him. I love his music. Listen to it when I got a chance, and he's a truck driver. So he's a good old boy like me. He's been out here. I think we're pretty close, same age. But his tour bus was on the off-ramp, and if I would have seen it ahead of time, I would have pulled up and seen. But they had a trailer and all that, but they were off on the off-ramp doing something. But he made the Wall of Fame for 2024, so he's part of that group there with Matt's, because I think Matt's has been going for about 52 years now. But that's just something of the American heritage and how America gets moving, you know, whether it's food, medical supply, your fuel for your cars, home heating, things come by truck. They can come up to our shores on the ship, they can get shipped by rail, but to get it to the store, get it to your house or to the manufacturer, the high percentage of the time it's always truck. That's going to be the final line of it getting to the end there, so that final mile. But I've always been, since I was a little kid, just jazzed up on semis, and I want to go next year, as long as my spouse is healthy. I'd like her to come along. But that's my gig, that's my thing. She knows it, and I was pretty well I probably had 3 TVs going on, just, you know, watching all the different channels, see who was popping what up. So really nice, and props to all you guys. I gave you a shout out to Bruce Wilson for allowing me to open the door to allow me to find Gentry and Sons and Fitzgerald and Semi-Casual. You know, there's Weston, there was, you know, all these other folks that once you start following Matt's, Lacey Blair, I started following her, God, I want to say because of SEMA, but she got in with the heavy truck scene too. But all these folks, oh, and the one guy that helps keep things always going, he dedicates his day-to-day time, even when he's out to dinner with his mother-in-law and his wife. But Alex at Mother Trucker, you know, props to him too. I knew I was forgetting someone there, but you know, we're all dedicated to this industry, and it's just really nice when you got that passion. That's what makes you successful and stay in the business, is when you got that passion. If you're in it for the paycheck, you're gonna sink and die. You got to bring heart to it. I mean, it's just like in pro sports. If you're just gonna go out and get the paycheck, at some point you're just gonna be dust in the wind, gonna get used up, because your heart's not in it, just your mind and the money. But if you get your heart in it and your passion, the money will come. The other thing too, another guy, Just Trucking, Justin at Just Trucking, his channel, I followed him and his wife around there and got their perspective on some of the trucks and that. So props to you, man, supporting your family, driving a truck and taking care of business that way. But I'm gonna give I'm gonna tag all these people down in the description. But, and thanks to my wife, who tolerated me for about 3 days of that and just talking about things. But she knows that's my outlet to enjoy something in life when I'm not working. But you know, it was nice to have 4 days at home. I got some projects done, chores done. Channel was growing while I was home, and I appreciate you all dropping in. I'm out here today, shut down, got my fuel. I'm here in Draper, Virginia again. Then I'm popping in, getting Virginia done tomorrow, and then my West Virginia and Virginia stuff will be done tomorrow, and then off to Kentucky. So we're still moving, still hauling, keeping busy. And like I said, I always got side gigs and other things going on. So for me to sit around and do nothing, that's pretty hard to do when I've got so many other things that can be cash flowing that I could be working on when I'm home. So if we do see a slow down time coming here, which I anticipate, I've got other things, probably be shooting some from home. So just be aware of that. If you don't see me in the truck often as we get later in the year, we're watching the economy, we're seeing what things are doing. So like I said, I was surprised to see the money and the effort of going into these trucks at Matt's, and especially when we're going through some economic hard times right now. So you know, giving you guys a thumbs up and saying just keep it going out there, and hopefully next year will be another great year there, and I want to bring you guys along next year.